What up, guys? It's the Board Game Bulldog here, DJ Maggard, about to give you another review. Like I told you from the Saturday Showdown, I'm supposed to hit you up with Sheriff of Nottingham. Now this is a game about it's about bluffing, bribery, smuggling goods in. Basically, someone's gonna play a certain character, the sheriff, and you have to say what kind of goods are gonna go in. And he has to decide if you're lying or if you're telling the truth. And based on that, you're gonna get paid out or you have to pay him. It's actually a really fun game to play. I know what I'm saying right now is probably not hitting you on all cylinders, but give it a shot. Take a look at my review, and we'll see you back here in a second. Alright? Alright, guys, so here's my brief overview of Sheriff of Nottingham by Arcane Wonders. As you can see here, this is what your general board's going to look like. Everyone's going to start with their own player board, a little satchel where you can you're going to keep your cards in. I'll let you know how that works in a little bit. And you're going to start off with 50 coins. Now, this game is based upon like bluffing and trying to outwit your opponent. So for the most part, what you're going to be doing here is first, everyone's going to get 6 cards. So let's deal out 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so in these cards, what you're trying to do here is, first, if you can see on your player board, you have 5 different locations to put things. You have apples, bread, chicken, cheese, and contraband. So right here, for a red player, we're just going to spread these cards out. Red player has 3 apples, 2 chickens, and 1 cheese. This yellow player has, we see some contraband. Oh, and I gave this person way too many cards. Sorry about that. Okay. So, he has 2 contraband pieces. They're going to come in different shapes and sizes. This is basically illegal cheese, okay? And then pepper is a contraband. If you haven't noticed already, this game kind of somewhat takes place in medieval times. So that's what the gold player is going to have. 3 apples of cheese, an illegal cheese, and some pepper. And the purple player has some bread, an apple, a chicken, another apple, and some bread. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. First, you need to figure out who is going to play the Sheriff of Nottingham. So let's decide that the red player is going to play Sheriff of Nottingham. He's going to disregard his cards for this turn. So we'll just turn this over. And the red player is going to play the Sheriff of Nottingham. So what the other players must do is they're going to try to get by as many goods as they can through the sheriff. Now you're probably kind of wondering, well, that seems kind of stupid, but there's a little bit of role playing going on here. So let's go with this yellow person's turn. So if you look real quick on your turn order, you have a market phase. So basically in the market phase, out of your 6 cards, you get to choose how many cards you want to discard. Well, this person has a really good run at apples right now. So let's say, I don't know, let's get rid of these 2 cheeses. Now, you have this little card holder here where you can put cards in wherever you want. So you can discard them in here, you can discard them in here. We're going to discard them in here. So now that I have discarded 2 cards, I'm allowed to draw 2 cards. Now, when you draw cards, you're allowed to pick up from whatever pile that you want. So I could pick up these apples if I wanted for this character. Well, look at that. 2 more apples. But if I didn't want to do that, I could pick 2 random cards off the top, or 1 and 1, either or. This guy's looking good because he has 5 apples. So we're going to go over here to the purple person. And, well, even though they have all legal goods, you're trying to get the most of so many goods in past the Sheriff of Nottingham. So, let's say maybe they're trying to collect apples too. They want to discard this chicken. Oh, by the way, on each card, there's this gold value of how much it's worth at the end of the game. So, the chickens are worth the most. They're worth 4 coins. The apples are worth 2. The bread is worth 3. And then, let me see if I can find... Oh, and the cheese right here. The cheese is worth 3 as well. Okay, so, like I said, this person's doing pretty good with apples as well. So, they're going to discard the chicken card. And let's say they want to put it right here. They're going to draw 1 random card. What do they draw? A cheese. Well, that doesn't really help them that much. Okay, so after your market phase, you're going to go to load your merchant bag. And what's going to happen here is you're going to take your bag, you're going to unsnap it, and you're going to load it with as many goods as you want. But you have to remember 2 things. You have to remember how many goods that you're putting in your bag and what type of good that you're going to put in there, because that's what you have to declare to the sheriff. So the yellow player is going to go and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apples into his bag. Then he's going to close it. Once you hear that snap, that means it's done, it's over with, and he's going to toss it to the sheriff. There you go, sheriff. Now the purple player is going to get kind of a little bit frisky here. We're going to show you how this is going to work. So the purple player has 3 apples. None of the other players know what the purple player has, except for the purple player. But she's going to say that she's going to have 4 apples, but she's going to try to sneak in a bread. Okay. So what this purple player is going to do is do that. Close her bag. Let me see. And then toss it to the sheriff. So this leads us to our next phase of the declaration. In the declaration phase, whoever the sheriff's going to ask, okay, yellow player, what did you have in your bag? Remember, the yellow player had 5 apples. So at this point, you either, depending on what you put in your bag, you're either going to tell a truth or a lie, and sometimes you want to tell a combination of both to try to, persuade the sheriff for this reason. So the yellow player is going to say, Sheriff, oh sheriff, I have 5 apples in my bag. And what the sheriff's going to do is like, 5 apples, you say? Well, that seems like a lot of apples to be having for one person. And the yellow person can role play and go, well, I'm a baker and I need these 5 apples to make some apple pie. So if you would hurry along, I can just go about my way and you don't have to inspect my bag. Now, you're asking yourself, why would the sheriff want to inspect the bag? For 2 reasons. Okay, the sheriff will inspect the bag to see if something is wrong with the declaration of the player's cards. So the player's saying there's 5 apples in this bag. And the sheriff's like, that seems kind of fishy because it's kind of hard to get 5 cards of apples in a 6-card roulette thing. So you know what? I'm going to check it. So the other player has a choice too. You can negotiate. This is like a little negotiation game as well. He's like, well, sheriff, to speed up my process, I can give you 2 additional coins to not check my bag and just let me go about my day. And the sheriff has multiple options here. He can take the money and give the bag to the yellow player, or he can say, you know what, no, I still don't believe you. I'm going to check your bag. And give his money back and check the bag. So, the sheriff is going to open it up. And what does he find? 5 apples. Now, you're wondering what happens here. What's the benefit for the yellow person? Even though he told the truth, what is he going to get? Well, if the sheriff were to check the bag and your declaration is exactly what you say it is, the sheriff has to pay out the person this number right here. See, that's a 2. He's going to pay him two coins for every one that he said was right. So there's 5 apples here. It's going to cost him 10 coins. So he just lost 10 coins, and he has to give it to the yellow player for wrongly accusing him. And then this player is going to take all his apples and put it under or next to his apple spot. Because this is for the end of the game. Now, the sheriff still has to inspect the purple player's bag. And the purple player, remember, she was trying to be sneaky. She said she has 4 apples in her bag. When in reality, remember, she only had 3 apples and a bread. So she's going to talk, oh, you know, dear sheriff, I only have 4 apples in my bag. I'm just a lonely widow trying to get home to feed my boys some fresh fruit. Like I said, there's a little bit of role playing in here. When we play, it gets pretty intense. Anyways, so the sheriff goes and says, you know what? You seem like a trustworthy person. I'm just going to let you pass. Deciding not to check the bag. So he's going to give the bag to the purple player. Purple player opens up her bag. And what does he find? That she lied. And now that she didn't get caught because she has 3 apples and 1 bread, she still gets to keep everything because she snuck past the Sheriff of Nottingham. That's the inspection phase of the round. And at the end of the round, what's going to happen is you're going to pass the sheriff to the person to the left. And then you're going to restart all over again. So everyone draws back up to their 6 cards that doesn't have any cards. Same thing with this person. Draws back up to 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then restarts this phase all over again. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do you sneak certain things in? Or there's different ways of negotiating, as in, let's say this yellow player puts in these 3 items in the bag. 2 breads and a barrel mead, which is 7 coins at the end of the game. This yellow person can tell the Sheriff of Nottingham, well, I have 3 pieces of bread in my bag, and one of them might have your name on it if you just let me through. So to stay truthful, once he opens up or gives the bag back, we're not inspecting, he can give an item to him, or gold, or whatever's up for negotiation. A lot of people try to get multiple contraband in at one time, and they'll even just say, hey, I have 3 pieces of bread. And when the sheriff goes and checks, oh man, well, looks like you've been lying, and if you get caught, you have to pay that instead of the sheriff paying you. And this is going to go on for 3 rounds. 3 rounds, as in everyone's going to get a turn to be a sheriff 3 times. Now, during the end of the rounds of the games, whoever has the most apples is going to get 20 coins. Second place will get 10 coins. For bread, 15 coins for first place, 10 coins for second place. Chicken, 10 coins for first place, 5 coins for second place. And cheese is 15 coins and 10 coins. And there's extra coins, going around. But that's pretty much how you play Sheriff of Nottingham. Like I said, you're going to go through these steps of doing the market phase, of choosing which cards to draw in and out of here. This also works in another way. So like, let's say, so this apple's right here. If I discard 2 cards, I can discard these 2 cards. Because I'm trying to get the chicken, I have to go 2 cards deep, but I have to take this top card with it. So in order to get the chicken, I have to take the apple too. And this could go into my pile. That's if I was trying to collect chickens or whatever or whatnot. So that's how that works. Yeah, so that's pretty much how you play Sheriff of Nottingham. Like I said, you're going to keep going and sticking stuff in your bag and throwing the bag at the sheriff. And if you kind of don't really get into a role-playing aspect with this, I can understand you get kind of bored, but if you get into it, I mean, it's a pretty fun game. Alright guys, so that was my brief overview of Sheriff of Nottingham. Like I said, it's basically, you know, your bluffing game, trying to deceive people or trying to make them think that you are lying when you're telling the truth, so they have to pay you out. If you're not good at that, I probably wouldn't pick this game up. I know there's a couple people in our gaming group, I won't say any names, but they get mad when they get lied to, and they figure out that you know, you snuck in a whole bunch of contraband, or maybe you just got that one extra piece of bread that's gonna let you win the game at the end of the game. But this game overall, it's really easy to learn. Like I said, it's just grabbing cards and sticking them in a bag, and whether or not, if you're a good enough liar. That's what this game is basically like, if you're a good enough liar. Overall, I think it's a great game. It's a great social, interactive game to kind of get to know people, see where they stand at a gaming level. My rating for this game, probably give it like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, solid 7. I don't know, if you just want to sit around and goof around with a couple of your friends around the table, I would pick this up. If I didn't say it in my brief overview, it's a 3 to 5 player game, I believe. Yeah, 3 to 5 player game, and it takes about anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. You know, it gives you that sweet spot of time of playing the game. Well, anyways, that has been my review of Sheriff of Nottingham. Do me a favor, go like, subscribe, comment, ask questions, hit me up. If you see me in the street, I might sign something for you. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all that you guys do.